by Mike, the Big Cheese.
Thrills never come too cheaply. Wishes they never come true. Girls, they all just sit at home. Guys cruise around in the cars. Bar dudes down in the basement, yeah, rocking out on the guitars. We've been stuck down here too long. It's time to break out, sing along. Spread the action. Spread the action. Spread the action. We're gonna spread it all over this town. If you're feeling roughed up, got no place to go, find out where we're playing here. Come on, be a part of the show. We've had enough teenage isolation. It's gonna be a rock celebration. Spread the action. Spread the action. Spread the action. We're gonna spread it all over the world.
All right, welcome back to the Heavy Metal Mayhem Radio Show. It is Sunday, March 16th. I want to wish my father a happy 81st birthday. It was his birthday 2 days ago. His first one went out my mother, but I think we took care of him pretty well. So I hope he enjoyed himself and had a happy birthday this year. Hey, we got a great show for everybody tonight. Herman Rarebell of the Scorpions, formerly of the Scorpions, I should say, and Herman Z. German. He's got Herman and his friends right now. We'll be talking to Herman in about 45 minutes or so. We got a great bunch of music right there. Action out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I really liked this record when it came out. It was, I think, 85. Look Out for the Night. They were like right in the middle of the hair metal and more of like the power metal kind of mixed together. It just didn't go nowhere, the record, and the band kind of fell apart and broke up not too long after it. I reached out to Darren Lazari a couple of times to try to get him on the show. A very nice guy to talk to, but I think he's born again and he doesn't really have much interest in talking about the band. But I'm going to keep trying because I love to get more information about the group and what's going on. You never give up in this business. We try, and we keep on trying to get the guests that we want. Like I said, we got a great one tonight. Herman Rarebell. It's been a slow year for interviews. Like, we only had one guest on per week, and usually by now we have two, sometimes three guests a week. I don't know if, I mean, there's been quite a few records coming out, but a lot of bands just either aren't doing press and not doing interviews or radio. I don't know what's going on. Even my reps from like AFM and Massacre, I haven't heard from them in 2 months, which is rare. Usually every other day I get emails about stuff, and it's been pretty quiet this year so far. So I've been out there hunting down guests on my own, so we're doing the best we can this year. It's a lot of work doing that, and it's been a while since I've had to, so that's why we're only having one guest a week. All right, how about we get back to the music? Wallop, Lack of Power.
Cover up the skull, they stay in fast, but it isn't.
All right, we kick things off with Wallop and Lack of Power, Malice, Squeeze It Dry, and right there, Clovenhoof, Darkest Before the Dawn. That comes off of last year's record, Heathen Cross. I have to tell you, I just love Clover. I've always been a fan of this since the beginning. Lee is a good friend of mine, a dear friend of mine, and I have to tell you, when I mean, since I think 2014, when Resist the Serve came out, the band has put out a new record pretty much every 2 years. I mean, even through COVID, they had new music coming out. Lee says he's always writing, which is a great thing. And I remember when Who Mourns for the Morning Star came out, I heard that George Cole was going to be the singer for the band. I was sort of disappointed because I felt like it was going to be the Americanization of that group, and they were such a classic new wave of British heavy metal band. I didn't know what to think of it. Then when that record came out, I was just blown away. It was more than I could ever expect. And then they followed it up with Age of Steel and Time Assassin. Things didn't work out, after three records. I wish it would have kept going, but look what we got instead. The Tyrant, Harry Conklin on vocals for Heathen Cross. And when we had Harry on the show and he announced that he was going to be the new singer of Clovenhoof, I guess that caused a little friction with the other guys in Jack Panzer because maybe they didn't know about it. And everybody started backpedaling, backtracking on it. But we had Harry on the show a few months later to promote the new Jack Panzer record. And, he was like, yeah, I'm thrilled to be a part of this and being it. It was something I was looking forward to doing. He was so happy about it. They're working on a follow-up record right now. I'm pretty sure we're going to get that next year, maybe even this year. Who the hell knows? But, I mean, they just blew it away with this Heathens Cross record. I mean, it's got a little bit of the old, a little bit of the new, and they know how to mix it all together and make it sound classic. Absolutely love what they did with that. All right. Well, Hellstar just announced finally a brand new record we're going to get from Hellstar. I can't wait. The Devil's Masquerade. I think it's been about 8 or 9 years since Hellstar put out a new record. James Revere was always busy with one project or another. I had his new wave metal project that came out a record about a year or so ago. We had him on the show, but I'm dying to hear new Hellstar, and we'll get him back on here when this record comes out again. And we'll talk. James is always a fun guy to talk to, and I enjoy having him on here. I'm looking for. Actually, they're going to be playing Hell's Heroes next weekend. Warlord had to cancel the show because of visa trouble, and I find it funny that an American band has visa trouble. I know a couple of. I think both of the guitar players are from South America. I think from Ecuador and Brazil, if I've got that right. And Giles is originally I think he's from Australia. I don't know where he is these days, but I don't see him having trouble getting here. But I guess the two guitar players couldn't get visas. I guess because they're from South America, Trump probably put a kibosh on anybody coming here from those countries, and they can't get here to do the show. So Warlord canceled. Hellstar is going to be on that bill. They're also going to be on the Rage of Armageddon Festival, which is going to be a great. Too bad they're on a different night. Sunday seems to be the more traditional classic metal night. I think they're playing Friday night, and I think Bitch might be on that show also. So you're going to get two bands on there from like the 80s. It would have been nice if they were on the Sunday bill, and Bitch was on the Sunday bill. That would have really made it great, but it is what it is. And it's funny because Blades of Steel has just started announcing all the bands that are going to be on this year's lineup, and they picked the same exact weekend as the Rage of Armageddon Festival here in New York to do their festival. So I mean, it's not like we have such a big metal crowd here that travels to go to these shows and everything. You got a few diehards that'll travel from wherever they are in the U.S. to go to one of these festivals. I mean, you're going to keep it local by doing that because people who already know about the Rage of Armageddon Festival for over a year now, and they've known the lineup, I think, since the beginning of the year in January. Anybody's travelers already made arrangements and bought tickets, or they plan on coming here. So it's got to kind of knock down the crowd size for the Blades of Steel Festival. I don't know why they didn't make it different weekends, even different months. That way you're not clamming everything together and making people kind of have to choose where they go. So it's going to wind up being a local festival. So you got to hope that you have a big enough local following, and in Wisconsin and the surrounding states that could drive there to see the show. It's a shame because, two good festivals, but they're going to compete against each other this year. So we'll see what happens. All right, you know what? We're going to play some classic Hellstar in a little while. How about before we do that, some Savage Grace, Live to Burn.
You cannot defeat the intentions of a greater.
All right, there you go. Black Dragon, New York City Run. Christian wanted to hear that. That's a pretty obscure record, I think. I mean, it came out in '82. Heavy Metal Intoxication. I think it was the only record the band put out. They were from Germany back in the day. It wasn't a bad album. Like I said, it came out very early on in the scene, 1982, out of Germany. I mean, we only had Accept back then that most people knew about. So this kind of got lost in the mix, and the band kind of faded away. Now there's just an obscure act. I think was it Golden Core Records? I think they might have re-released that a few years ago, or some of those songs. I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. All right, well, you know what? We gotta get to Herman Rarebell. So let's play some Scorpions. We'll talk to Herman. Tonight's show is gonna end a little earlier because all my grandkids are here. My wife's running after them, and I don't know how much she's got in her. So we're gonna end maybe 15 minutes earlier tonight. But let's do a little Scorpions. Then we'll talk to Herman, and then we'll sing off his newest record.
Tokyo place, nothing pretty face. Said, hey, you alright? So alright. I was sitting in her car. She told me you're a star, and I know you. She said, take me home. I need love so strong. Come on, knock me out. Knock me out. I've been too long alone. I want her love, you know, and I need it now. She said, hey, let's go. Don't put on a show. You're just another piece of me. Said, hey, let's go. Don't put on a show. You're just another piece of me. Next day she took me out to a rocking boxing show. While it's really turned her on. I know. She was screaming for more blood, loved it more than any drug. I couldn't stand it. I said, hey, let's go. Don't put on a show, but just another piece of me. Said, hey, let's go. Don't put on a show, but just another piece of me. Said, hey, let's go. Don't put on a show, but just another piece of me. Said, hey, let's go. Don't put on a show, but just another piece of
Mike.
me.
Hey, Mike, I'm here. How are you?
I'm doing very good. It's a pleasure to talk with you today.
My pleasure too. Where are you actually?
New
Where is-
York, New York City.
Oh, wonderful. Well, I'm 6 hours away from you.
Okay, so happy afternoon, I guess.
I-
Well, listen, such a big fan of everything you've done, and I'm so happy that we finally have brand new music. And I think you went above and beyond with this record, really capturing that essence of the '80s, but yet you brought it to the new era. I don't know how to explain it. It's modern, yet it's from that golden era of rock and roll.
Yeah, for me it was the best area. As you know, I toured the States up and down the whole time. And the good thing, all the songs I picked, this were people I toured with at the time, and also personal friends of mine like Robert Palmer, John Jett, for example, toured with us in Europe 4 months as our opening act. So I heard every night, I like rock and roll, I love rock and roll. So for me, it was a great thing, Also, when we toured many times with Whitesnake, this was always my favorite Whitesnake song, Here I Go. And Robert Palmer, for example, was a good friend of mine. He came to my wedding, and I saw him many times in Milano. He came down to Monte Carlo to see me. So all this has personal stories for me too. So it's a great honor for me, to present this to the American public.
Trey, I was going to ask you, how you came about with the song list, and now you just explained it perfectly. I mean, based on the title of the record, What About Love? People would think this is like just a love album of love songs, but it's a mixture of everything that sort of kind of relates to love in a way of one
Well,
thing or another.
I looked at the world and then I asked myself, what about love? What happened to love? All I see around me is a lot of hate, mistrust from people and all those things. This was not there in the 80s. In the 80s, we had a lot of good fun, created some very, very melodic songs which everybody could sing along. We had some great rhythm, and I like to bring this back to the time. And I also like to remind people of love. What happened to love? Have we forgotten about it? What is the aim now? Are we going completely crazy, going to blow each other off, or what is the game?
It's true. We were definitely a different generation. We didn't live the way people live today back then. And
Yeah,
listening and reading a lot of interviews done over the years, where people say, "Well, how did you come up with the idea for this song or that song?" And then you explain like, "Well, I kind of lived it. I woke up one morning,
yeah, it's true.
sex, drug, and rock and roll." And people think there's more to it than that. It's just you partying, having a great time.
Yeah, we had a great time. Really, it was like sex, drugs, and rock and roll then. And I don't would like to miss. I don't regret a second for everything what happened there. I think it was the best time, musically speaking. Also for me, it was the golden years for me with the Scorpions, because in those days we had great albums, we had hit after hit, and I was in a very creative thing. As you know, I wrote many lyrics. For example, "Rocky Like a Hurricane," "Passion Roots the Game," songs like this, "Another Piece of Meat," "Blackout." So a lot of classic Scorpion songs, and I really, really think those songs will go on for a long, long time, maybe forever. Who knows?
They will definitely live on forever. And it's true because, you joined the Scorpions maybe two or three albums into the band's existence and they weren't having much success. When you came into the fold, all of a sudden things changed.
Yeah,
And
I know.
it could all be related to you. I mean, the music you contributed, the lyrics you contributed, that's where the success came from, in my opinion. If it wasn't for you, I don't think the Scorpions would have been at the level they were at in the 80s and kind of continuing on today.
I know. This just makes me sad when I see what happened today, because there's none of that spirit anymore there. It doesn't matter, as there's a time in life for everything. So for me, this time was over. I had the best time anywhere, the golden years, and you know what happened in all those years.
Yep.
And so for me, it was time to move on and do something else. And now I do solo projects, which I'm very proud of. For example, the What About Love album, which is basically bringing people back to the 80s and show everybody in the world, look, that's what we did then. It's about time to come back to this vibe, to this spirit. This is the message here. So I'm sure many parents and even grandparents bring their kids to the shows when I come over. So then I can take them all together back to that vibe, to that feeling.
True.
I can't
And
wait to play live. Can't wait. As you know, I have the original people. Also, we did the song. It was a big heart song. What About Love? I have Howard Leese in the band. He's the
yeah,
guitar player, and also on keyboard I have Jim Valance, who wrote the song. He wrote not only this song for me, for example, he wrote also for Aerosmith, as you know, many crazy, Armageddon, all this stuff. This is Jim Valance. He wrote also with me and Klaus back in 1992. We wrote together with them the Crazy World album completely. So I think one of the best writers we have in the world, for me, in my opinion. And this is not the only hit I had. I made also a second song on the album, This Dreams, because I thought at the time that Nancy and Ann Wilson sang fantastic. Also,
yeah.
we played many times live with them, so I could see him on stage. So for me, this is a personal return to all those bands I've worked with in my life.
True. And, Michael Voss working with you again, you guys have been together for a while doing stuff. And Michael's just an incredible musician,
Yeah,
talent, and a great singer. And this is the
great.
first time I'm really hearing Van der Voss. I've never heard before. And she does a great job on this record.
She is amazing. How can I say, he married the mother, Eva, and this is the daughter from Eva. So
Ah,
what does that mean? This he's daughter-in-law, or what you call this in English.
stepdaughter.
Yes, stepdaughter, exactly. That's what she is. And I heard the voice and I said immediately to him, I think she's the perfect girl to sing the Pat Benatar song and also the John Jett songs, you know. And he said, yeah, she has the perfect voice for this. And as you can hear, we have a video out also, you know. Love is
Yes.
a, you go to YouTube or you go to my website, you can see it. Herman Rarebell.com, you know.
True. With a lineup like this, there are so many different people on here. Some of them are active today. Some of them don't really play that often anymore. You got the amazing Bob Daisley playing bass on here. I mean, is this something that you're looking to take out on the road with the different lineup if you could?
Yeah, I think what will happen here is I will go out on the road, you know, maybe with a complete American lineup, except the singers, of course, because they cannot be replaced, you know,
Yeah.
Van der Michael Voss. But maybe the government in America says, please employ American musicians, you know. I have no problem with that, you know. I know many good musicians there, you know. You remember Wayne Finley, who was with me and Michael Schenker in the band Temple of Rock?
Yep.
And Michael Voss was our singer then before Doogie White came in. So basically, there's enough people for me in America also if they want just an American musicians, you know, which I have no problem with it because for me important is the song, you know, bring the message from those songs, and those songs are strong. Everybody can sing along to them. And I think I made a good choice of the songs I picked from the 80s, you know, because there were so many, I could make 10 albums like this. But this is, for me, in my opinion, the best songs I picked out from the 80s. Also, the first song, In the Air Tonight, being a drummer, I remember that Phil, until the rest of my life, I was sitting in the tour bus and suddenly I hear, boom, 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 boom. You remember that?
Yep.
And I fall off my seat. And I said to Rudolph, listen to this. What a great Phil, you know. And things like this, they make me happy. Still when I hear them today, you know.
True. And when you look at the song list of the record, I mean, you kind of covered all the genres of the 80s. There's pop on there, there's hard rock, there's
Yeah, yeah,
AOR. And, each song has that original vibe to it that you heard back in the day by those artists, but yet you put your touch on each one, which brought it into, I think, this new era of music that we have right now. How much
yeah.
did you want to change things around and make it a little bit of your own, but yet keep the original styling of the song? Because I think it's a good mix.
No, no, we of course we listened to the original song, you know, but for example, you know, the Pat Benatar song, which we covered, you know, Love is like a battlefield. There is no guitar solo in there. So Michael Voss said, I like to play one. I said, go ahead, you know, and I think it's a great little solo, but it goes to the point, you know. The song rocks very strong now, you know. That's what I wanted to do with the song. And the same for me, an everlasting ballad is, of course, I want to know what love is. What we toured with them many times, so was a great band for the greatest ballads ever. You know, Foreigner. You remember them in the 80s?
Absolutely, and they're still playing today. I mean, it's on their final tour, but they're still out
Yeah,
there. It's just incredible how like the music from that generation has lived on
yeah.
for so many decades, and people just still want it.
Well, I know, but I'm very sad about when I hear that bands like Aerosmith stop because Steven Tyler cannot reach the high notes anymore and things like this. This happened, you know, and I think I'm gonna play as long as I can, you know, because also one day the day will come to me where I cannot move my hands anymore. That's
Well,
life.
I mean, everything gets tougher on us as we get older. There's no doubt about it. But you're in amazing shape, and your drumming is still top notch. So I mean, you
Yeah.
can keep going on and on and on until you're 100 something years old, like said.
Don't do this to me. I don't want. I saw my grandfather with 96, you know, and he always said to me, I wish you nothing bad, ever, but I don't want you to get as old as me, you know. Then
Yeah,
you pain. That's what he said. Anyway, you know, I think, you know, I leave this to my creator. When he takes me, he takes me.
that's true. And Herman, on the record, these dreams. I mean, it holds so true to the original, version of the song. But yeah, Michael Voss's vocals on that song bring it to a
Yeah.
whole nother level. I mean, it just makes like almost like a new song of an old song.
Which song are you talking about now?
These dreams.
Oh, yeah, yeah, this stream. No, the girl sings this streams. Vanessa, you're talking about, yeah?
I'm
The girl,
sorry. Yes, yes.
she sings the ballad and she sings it spot on, you know.
Yeah.
You know, this. all those high notes who used to be sung by Nancy Wilson and Ann Wilson.
Yeah. She's just incredible on here. I hope you can work with her more in the future.
Well, I hope so too. Let's see.
Yeah. With this album now, like you said, you could write 100 records based on just these type of songs from the 80s. Is there any
No,
other genre of music that you would look to like kind of rework songs from? Is there anything from the 70s that you might be interested in doing?
yeah, no. I think one cover album is for me enough. So I have a lot of own songs also, as you know. But I think since the 80s were my golden years, and this was the most time I was touring the 80s, especially in America, as you know, we toured all those states up and down, because we had so many platinum albums in your country, starting from Animal Magnetism to Blackout, Love at First Sting, Savage Amusement, all those albums. The first one, also Love Drive. And I think, America is a great country for rock.
It is. And, Herman, if you go back to those early days of the Scorpions when you were still a struggling band trying to break it big, and then you finally get that breakthrough and fans are coming out now and you go from playing the smaller clubs and to like the major arenas. I mean,
Yeah.
do you ever get so comfortable you say this is never going to end, this is going to go on and on forever? Or do you just always look over your shoulder and say this could end tomorrow, so I'm just going to enjoy, every moment that I have with it?
No, my enjoyment is, when I have a good song and I play it, I feel the happiness in my heart. This gives me a lot. And then when I perform it live and see a lot of people become happy with this, it makes me happy again. So this is like a come and give situation.
True. I was disappointed in the 90s when you left the band, but it was a change in time. 1996, the scene was not the same anymore. The rock was
No,
kind of dead. Did you
Nirvana,
see?
when Nirvana came out, it was a different musical style, a different approach. A new time begun in rock. Yeah, for me also.
Was that the basis of your decision to leave the Scorpions at that time, or did you just want to venture out on your own?
No, don't forget at that time I was 20 years with the band. I had, as I said earlier, the golden years. I couldn't see anything anymore topping each. After Wind of Change, which was the highest point in selling records commercially speaking now, I think when I look at my song, Rock You Like a Hurricane, they still play this nowadays in all the classic rock stations. So for me, a time period ended there. So I thought to myself, come on, do something new in life. And that's what I did. I started to produce. I started to do my own albums and so on. Another guy from us who did this too was Michael Schenker, as you know. He
Yeah.
made me, and he played with great musicians, made great albums with this band. I had the honor to play with him again from 2010 to 2016. And we made 3 albums. We toured the world 3 times with these DVDs and these albums, and it was a lot of fun to play with him, I tell you.
Sure.
Good become,
Being in a band with three, four, five guys, there's always going to be ups and downs. There are going to be times when people get along,
yeah,
they don't get along, when you're having the time of your life.
yeah.
Michael Schenker was in the Scorpions. There's always been that issues with him and his brother and other members of the band. But then years later, you kind of like put that behind you and you go out with Michael, for, like I said, for a good 5 years on the road. So, I mean, does it really matter if you're friendly or not in a band as long as you do the job and get the job done for the fans?
Well, yeah, yes and no. I mean, I like to play also for myself. I like to be happy on stage. Then on the other side, if I have all the fans, and I make them happy, that's okay for me too, of course.
True. And one of the things that disappointed me, I think, the most in life was the Scorpions were supposed to retire 15 years ago, one final record, one final tour. I was hoping that they would have reached out to you and Francis got you guys back to do that. And then when they kept going on and then James was out of the band, I kept saying they got to get Herman back in the band. That didn't happen. I know you spoke out about that. You were disappointed yourself. And I think that's kind of like a slap in the face to you and Francis that you guys weren't asked to come back at that point in time and, continue this legacy until the end.
Well, look, they promised people already before, this is the last tour, this is the last concert,
Yeah.
I believe it when I see it. That's as simple as this for me.
Well, a lot of bands do that. They say it's their final tour, and then
Yeah.
everybody comes out, and I think it's going to revitalize the band, and they keep going and on again with it. But, sometimes things just aren't the same. The Scorpions of today, are not the Scorpions of the 70s and 80s.
No, of course not. But I think Aerosmith and all those people there, all they're going to be forced in the end to stop because if you cannot sing anymore, because you cannot read notes anymore, then it's better to say, that's it. I leave you with good memories of myself. This is
True.
my song. People have me in very good memories in the United States, and I'm sure when they hear this album, then there's no I still rock.
True. And so many bands that have broken up over the years or they've just come to an end, other members of the band sort of reform that band under a different name or a similar name.
Uh,
Was that something you ever thought about doing, like Herman Rarebell Scorpions or, Herman Rarebell something with Scorpions? Because you were the key person that wrote the majority of all the big hits.
well, look, I had a thing with an orchestra from Poland that were in Czechoslovakia, and we called this project Scorpion Song Symphonic, So I had about 30, 40 symphonic musicians with me, and we played all those songs, which I wrote and co-wrote in this show, It was like a 2-hour show, and it went down really well in Poland and Czechoslovakia. So this orchestra, I could play with them anytime I wanted because they know all my songs. They have it on the notes, But now I think it's time for this album, to bring people really back to the 80s and show them how great the 80s were. And all those young kids don't know this, I think that is find out about it.
They will. And I know you said like, you're done with the cover albums right now. You want to focus on original material. Do you have stuff that you're working on right now would it be another
No,
Herman Z German record?
no, no. What's coming right now is I wrote a book, but the
Yes.
book at the moment only released in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland, in the three German-speaking countries. I'm sure sooner or later it's going to be translated into English, into French, and all the other languages. But right now, the release date for the book is also the 11th of April, just the same release date as my album, which comes out the same day.
It's going to be a busy month, April. Does the book kind of cover your entire history? Is it autobiographical from start to finish?
Yeah, it starts my complete history from the day I got born, until I joined the Scorpions. All my years I spent with the Scorpions, which is about 20 years, as you know. And I will talk about all this in detail, And then in the end, of the book, I also describe how I live now and what I do now. So you can look in my life basically from the beginning until now.
That's great. I hope they do put it out in English language so I can definitely read it.
It will be. I spoke to my publishers already about it, and they said they have already offers from the United States, from French companies, and so on. So I'm sure it will be then translated in different languages. Nowadays, it's easy with all those modern computers. You can translate it in 5 minutes, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, how good is the memory when you're writing a book and you're trying to cover, 70 something years of your life? I mean, does everything come back to you relatively easy? Or do you have to really think hard about some old stories?
No. You have to sit down, and think about it. Then this happened. How did you get to the Scorpions? You did this, and this. Then the memories come back. It's the same then when you learn how to ride a bicycle. Then you have not ridden a bicycle, let's say, for 50 years, and then suddenly you sit on it again. Everything comes back in 1 second.
True. Are there memories that you wish you didn't have to bring up again that you have to be part of the book?
Well, I try to put everything out, not only the good, also bad things that happened to me in the beginning. It was a long road for me, to get where I am now. And I describe all this also in the book, Not everything in life is pretty, Also some things, you have to work hard for. Then you have disappointments. We all have that. And I'm the same, I go to life and look at it like Paul McCartney. Let it be, whatever happens to it. Let it be. There will be an answer, Or listen to the great lyrics John Lennon wrote. Imagine that song.
Very true. And I know, Herman, a couple of years ago, I know you sold your share of the rights to mostly the Scorpions catalog, and a lot of artists are doing that these days. They're selling off their catalogs. Is it hard to let that go? Because that's kind of like a baby to you in a way. Those are things that, meant a lot to a lot of people, but it's also a business. You have to make the right financial decisions. So
Well,
is it
yeah.
hard to let it go?
No, not at all. For me, I look at it like this. I'm 75 years old, and I'm not going to take anything with me. Do you?
Sure.
Do you? What I mean? So for me, I rather go with the blast with a big bang than to worry about all those things. I did my work and I sold my work for good money, and that's a fair deal. And I'm not going to be here for the next 200 years. If I'm here the next 10 years, I will be very happy. And as I said, I'm not going to take anything with me. You neither, by the way.
No, I know. I just hope to hold on to it a little longer. That's all.
Yeah, well, look, we all try to do this, When the boss decides this is time for you to go, you will go, and there's nothing you can do about it. You can offer all the money you have, you can offer all the houses, everything you have. And he goes, nope, your time is up, boy. Take care. Bye-bye. So that's the reality, And
Very
you have
true.
that type of reality.
Yeah.
I wrote once a song. It was called "Nothing Lasts Forever," and the record company said to me, "You can't do this, Herman. Women, they think, that they're going to be married forever or what, all those things. You can't do it." It was a ballad also. It was never released. This is a song I could release tomorrow, but I don't know. Maybe they were right.
I mean, you've been in this business a long time. You've seen the changes where 40, 50 years ago, a band had to get signed to a major label and have that to make success and move on. Today, it's a whole different thing. You could
Oh,
put out labels, music on your own. I mean, was it easy for you to adapt from the old record industry standards to the new ones of today?
I think it's further. Look at it this. Nowadays, you get counted by the clicks you have. So if you have, for example, 1 million clicks with any of those companies, from Spotify or whatever their name is, they pay you for 1 million clicks $40. And before they pressed the record or a CD, and that was $4 million. So a big difference. They pay you for a click 0.00004 cents. It's a crime.
It is, but wasn't it also difficult to make money off of a record label back in the early days because you only got a small cut of the actual album sales anyway? But it was
No,
probably a lot more than the clicks.
yeah, of course, and I was very happy with the album sales we had because we got paid more from an album than we get from a click. In those days, you probably each member probably got paid $1 from each album sale, which was little. But if you count a million, if you sell 10 million albums, then it's a lot of money again. So this is all a perspective of relativity, I think. But to sell out the music that cheap, that's for me a crime. To sell for a song for 0.004 cents, that's what you get for the click.
Yeah, it's nothing. And I don't remember who it was, but some very well-known record producers saying that the only reason bands had to put out records back in the day because a record was a promotional tool to go out on tour, and that's where
Yeah.
the money was made. But when you're putting all your heart and soul into writing a song and music, isn't that important?
Well, look, the record company tried to do their best to make as much money as they could do. And for us, it was very important also that we go out and promote this album live. Nobody does that anymore. All they do now, they put a video out.
That's
But
true.
then, at least with me, you could see on the video that I have a damn good band, and I can promise you when we play live, you will be surprised how good this band is. I think you thought that Love is a Battlefield, right?
Yeah,
Well, then you know.
absolutely. Well, Herman, I'm not going to keep. I know you're doing interviews all day long today. You got another one coming up in a few minutes. The album comes out April 11th on Metalville. Your autobiography is also out. I mean, it's a great month for you, and I'm hoping that you can get a band together, get out on the road, and come here to the U.S. because it's been a long. I haven't seen you since you were with Michael Schenker, so I got to get to see you live again.
I'm ready. As soon as they tell me everything, you have a lot of fans now in America. They're waiting for you. We just entered the charts. I'll be over there immediately. No problem.
You
Say
got
it to all my fans, and I'm still loving you.
it. Same here, Herman. Take care and have a great afternoon.
You too. Bye-bye
Bye
for
bye.
now.
I saw him dancing there by the record machine. I knew he must have been about 17. The beat was going strong, playing my favorite song. And I could tell it wouldn't be long till he was with me, yeah, me. And I could tell it wouldn't be long till he was with me, yeah, me. Singing, I love rock and roll. So put another dime in the jukebox, baby. I love rock and roll. So come on, take your time and dance with me. Ow! He smiled, so I got up and asked for his name. That don't matter, he said, 'cause it's all the same. Said, can I take you home where we can be alone? And next we were moving on, he was with me, yeah, me. Next we were moving on, he was with me, yeah, me. Singing, I
All right, Herman Rarebell doing a cover of Joan Jett, who's doing a cover of somebody else back in the day of I Love Rock and Roll. 70 something years old, still beating the hell out of those drums. I hope I'm in that shape when I get to that age. I'm not there now when I'm like 25 years younger than them, but that's life, right? Okay, we're going to keep the music flowing here today. I saw that Davey Alford, who was the drummer for Rough Cut, he's got Davies Davies rocking or rocking Dave Alford's Rough Cut now. I mean, like we needed another version of Rough Cut, like the one that we had before this wasn't enough. I mean, how many versions have there been? There was the original Rough Cut. Then I think Paul Shortino did Shortino's Rough Cut or Shortino's Cut. Then there was Rough Right, which was Paul Shortino and Carlos Cavazzo doing Rough Cut and Quiet Riot songs mixed together. Now we have rocking Dave Alford's Rough Cut. Just what everybody wants. Everybody's like sitting back saying, "Damn, I really want to see Rough Cut's drummer do Rough Cut." I don't think so, but there's another version of it. Scott Board, who's a great singer, who had his little thing with Vinnie Vincent a few years ago when he hired him, then fired him before he even did anything. Scott's a great singer and a good guy. So I guess they're out there playing and having fun. I don't really know. I just don't get it. We don't. How many versions of one band do we need, or how many offshoots of a band do we need, especially with just a drummer doing it? You know what I mean? And it's like Bobby Blotz's Rat. You know, I just don't get it. I really don't. And then I saw that Skid Row still haven't found a singer, which is pretty amazing considering that when they do get rid of a singer, 2 days later they seem to be announcing the new singer of the band. Maybe they learned their lesson by not rushing into like another singer. You know, they did that with quite a few singers and things didn't work out. They're on like their fourth or fifth right now, I think. So it's been about a year since the other guy left the band, and I guess they're taking the time trying to find the right guy. We'll see if they find him, and if it works, who knows. Personally, I think Skid Row is over and done with they do the carnival circuit, they do the festival circuit, things like that, but that's really all. Okay, brand new Sanhedrin. Love this band. Out of all the newer bands, this is probably one of my favorite. They got a brand new record out called Heat Lightning. We debuted a track off this a few weeks ago. The album officially came out Friday. They were doing a press day, just wasn't able to be a part of it. So I'm going to reach out to Erica and try to get her on the show separately from that press day. We'll have another interview with her. We'll talk about this new record. How about we do a High Threshold for Pain? This is a song that keeps my wife and I married all these years.
As you older, it turns to a boulder.
right, Mania Blade with Raiders, and right before that, Nova Skelis. I mean, the band had one record out about 2 years ago called Life Amongst the Dam. It features Falcon Eddie Green, who was in Phantom back in the 80s. We had Eddie on the show quite a few years back, and he was a fun guy to talk to. This band came out of nowhere to me. He's in it with another guy from Germany. It's a three-piece band, and I think somebody from Italy. And they just played a couple of shows over in Europe. They did some of the festivals in Germany. Some really good stuff over there. So I hope that they come out with a new record. I got to reach out to Eddie, maybe get him back on the show again. It'd be fun to talk to him about this project. And right before that, Sanhedrin, High Threshold for Pain, brand new. So go check out the record, go pick it up. They're a great band, and Erica's always a fun girl to have on the show. I'll try to get her on again real soon. All right, let me see what we got here. Next week, Patrick Murlock from Fear is back on the show. He actually wasn't on a few weeks ago, and we put him in the book just to find out he was in the hospital that night. So we took him out of the book. We implemented the 7-day rule. We're going to wait a week before we put somebody into the book for canceling on us at the last minute or without notification. But Pat will be on next week. He is actually on the Monsters of Rock cruise this week. I don't know if the band is performing or if he's a guest, but we'll have him on next Sunday night. All right, let's do, let me see here. We got enough time for one more set of music, and then we're going to wrap it up a little earlier tonight. So how about some Hammer On? It's been a long time since I played these guys. Silent Victim.
Yeah! say I love to fight. Time to put on studs and leather. Time to go out and do some heavy weather. Metal night, live on. Metal night, rock is gone. Metal night, stand proud. Metal night, bruises will die. Crowd the streets, looking for sin. I'm a steal, so I go to live. Too many rockers, hoes and fools must have fun to break all their bones. Metal nights, live on. Metal nights, rock is gone. Metal nights, stand proud. Metal nights, brothers will die. Just like you had mayhem in your blood last night. You understood, you are thrashing, you don't belong. Listen to me, you can't go wrong. Metal night, live on. Metal night, rock is gone. Metal night, stand proud. Metal night, brothers will die. Metal night, metal night, metal night. Mental wage of mayhem.
All right, Petra wanted to hear that, so there you go. Battalion with Thrash Attack. Before that, Mandator, Jack Boots and Leather Caps, and Nasty Savage with Metal Knights and Hammer On, Silent Victim. We're going to wrap it up here tonight. I want to thank Herman Rarebell for being on tonight's show. Don't forget to tune in next Sunday night. Pat Murlock of Fear will be our guest. Pat will be calling in live at about 6:45 Eastern Time. I want to wish everybody a happy day, a happy night, a great week, and I'll see you next Sunday night. Let's close it out with a little Torch, Beauty and the Beast. Take care, everybody.